Good morning, guys. We play today. We'll be live after the match against Real. Welcome, Madrid fans. How's everyone doing? I wanted to talk about this whole Mbappé thing because it came up after that post about him, but it was actually the Madrid account on XY that did it. You'll say, well, on Twitter, it's basically like chatting at a bar and all that. Yeah. But it's a reflection of something from people who get really worked up and all that. But hey, that's life. When you go to a soccer stadium, you see something similar, right? And then soccer besides what does it? There are reactions that are really, really intense, really heated, that then mellow out over the days. But that's what it causes. It's really, really up and down, right? And I've noticed something about Mbappe that I really don't like, honestly. And check it out. In this video, we're going to break down another little thing about Dell's style of play that, for me, because of his goal production and because he's such an amazing player, he's got to play all the time. And to me, he's the star of this Madrid team. Right now, he's done it. He's earned it thanks to his goals. But he has something that, for me, he needs to work on. And that's why not only would he probably score more goals, but it would also help the team play better and score more goals and the rest of his teammates, so everything would work better as a whole, right? Well, so where am I going with this? This is a picture from Real Madrid's account on X where they were like, hold on. They were saying, what's better, the control or the finish? Why? You're going to see. It's absolutely insane goal, huh? Wow, amazing. Anyway, well, on paper, no. You say this. I mean, this is a number 9. It's a number 9, but the guy can be a 10. He can be a 9. He can play left wing. He can be a lot of things. But I remembered yesterday after the live stream, in the same video of the live stream, those of you who were there or who later watched it on replay, remember I was referring to this. I'm not going to drag you too much with this story because, like I said, we already saw it yesterday, which was the other day in Liverpool and is one of many plays. By the way, not just in this game, we've seen more where, well, Mbappe, hey, for whatever reason, on the counterattacks sometimes, other times not, but sometimes he just stops. Mysteriously, you say, but come on, if there's going to be a clash with a kid carrying the ball, so why not push forward, right? So then what could be an option if the Madrid player, if the one carrying the ball is really under pressure? It's true, he's a bit under pressure here from Szoboszlai, and I think he was the one trying to take the ball away from him. But anyway, I mean, you should have run, right? So then he had the options of going up against Caneto and Van Dijk to, well, try to break something up. Mainly about breaking up that back four a little bit, also set up here. That said, well, if nobody gives us trouble, then who cares? We keep going. We're doing fine. All lined up. Why? Madrid can't hurt us. No. Damn. At least he makes a diagonal. In some way. Create some space for the ball carrier or open up a passing lane. Go for that run. Create chances in attack for your team. Why? Give the opponent a hard time. No, man, it's neither one thing nor the other. I'm saying, no, give it to me. I mean, because of course, Bellingham's like, so what do I do? Because damn, I'll just give it to him. Should I give it to him, right? And then later, to get the ball here and pass it to Vinicius. You guys will have to tell me what's so slow about this. I hope Xabi Alonso sees this with Mbappe and with the rest of the team. Because this isn't normal to happen. But hold on. Well, not just in that play. And then with Mbappe, plus when Vinicius is already driving in from that little corner of the box, he cuts inside. Mbappe just stays there. Tchouaméni coming in from behind to take that same spot as Mbappe to create two options there. Damn. Push up, get into the box, look for him, overlap Vinicius on his left to try and make something happen. Because Tchouaméni is going to get to the edge of the box to try the shot. From there, if Vinicius decides to pass it, not to Aurelian, I mean, no, but he just stands there. And in the end, at the start, well, they try to get it to Bellingham. Watch out. This play was the one that finished him off. Is that true, huh? With Bellingham's layoff and Mbappe's high shot, they still managed to create an attacking play. But he blasted it way up into Liverpool's sky. But that said, for me, and I've said it 1,000 times, I also said it live right after Xabi Alonso's press conference yesterday, MP. I mean, to me, he's a player it's impossible to do without if you have him on your team. But what you've got to do is support him well, show him that those moves, damn, he can at least try to pull them off. If he doesn't do them, if you're fine with him not doing them, and that's what his coach says, then at least put a striker next to him. Who can do that job? But not a striker, a midfielder. What am I getting at here? Here I'm holding this video of Thierry Henry after last year's Milan game. He broke down really well what was going on in that Milan match, the one we lost 1-3 or 2-3 at the Bernabeu, which was right after losing 0-4 to Barca. Anyway, well, last season was terrible, especially at the start. That was that season, right? And here's what Henry himself said.
Spots home. Stop. Did we spot it all? All together. What is it?
I'm going to show you something. We're going to break down here together. He says, it's something Bellingham tries to do. Look at your number 9. He doesn't mention Mbappé at any point, huh? Notice he's friends with Mbappé and all. Laughs. He was the coach of France's Olympic national team the year he wanted Mbappé to join. In the end, he didn't make it, which was at the Paris 2024 Olympics. So, he's clearly not suspected of having anything against the French striker. He's talking about reality. Look, this is your number 9. What Mbappé is supposed to do. He says always or more often than not doing it. Try to make that run here. Maybe it's not the best example, Beige and Baby who doesn't get there. No puts pressure on the center backs, doesn't take up positions inside the box, right? Where would Gonzalo be there? Well, would he be looking for a different kind of positions? No running and being here. Here we're going to see it better. Here's what Henry says. He says, check it out.
Break.
The line, he says, Bellingham is trying to break through playing as a 9.
On mine.
He says, and that's your number 9? Mbappé picking up the ball in midfield spots? Benzema used to do this sometimes too. But Benzema understood that. In many situations, he had to. And sometimes Mbappé does it on paper too, you know. Smart makes the pass. I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't do it. But this is from last year. I mean, it happens a lot. And in Champions League games, big games, and in the end, you're number 9. I don't think this was a tactic because, like Enric is going to explain here, you say, hey, the number 10 can do it once, which in this case was Bellingham, even though he wears the 5, right? And your 9 can drop back a bit to try to pull the center backs out, to try and cause some confusion and all that. But it's not like you do it that often.
Me, 10, here.
He says, this is your number 10 again. What's he trying to do? Look here, right? Look at Vinicius's pass. Mbappé called for it again, right at the edge of the box, and the pass kept going to Belling. So, well, I think with these examples, I'll show you another one later. Anyway, I mean, Belling, look. Here he is taking advantage of that central lane. Who's making use of it? Bellingham's the one taking advantage of it, not Mbappé, who's asking Vinicius for the ball at his feet. He even moves into those midfield spots right next to him, which is what he was doing the other day in Liverpool, to ask for the ball to his feet. And the one making the number 9 run was Bellingham, who often pushes forward. But yeah, that's what he's going to say later on, and I'm not going to show anymore because there could be issues here with the whole images thing, even if it shows up kind of like that. That's what he's saying. You can do it 123 times, but not for the whole game. And that one went on for the whole YY match against Liverpool. It really reminded me of that match, and it really reminded me of some of Mbappe's plays from last year. I was speaking really well of the Frenchman this year because it seemed to me that he wasn't doing this anymore, or at least not as much. That he was making more runs, that he was getting into more scoring positions, but it looks like we're back to square one. And that's what worries me. Sure, what's up? There's a difference between this, right? It's about analyzing Mbappe's game, understanding he's an incredible player, an incredible goal scorer, someone you always need on your team, but his movements could be improved a lot. And for that, the coach needs to be guiding him. Unless he thinks he's a player, you just can't say anything to. Careful with that. I don't see Xavi understanding soccer. That's how Ancelotti saw it. Careful. Ancelotti pulled it off for a while saying, no, I don't tell the guys up front anything. Since Xavi, I don't think so. And if CV is letting him get away with all this, man, that's when. Am I gonna start getting mad and suspicious, right? Well, but of course, that's one thing. And another thing is that in the comments on this Madrid tweet, there are things like, well, comparing him to other soccer players, for sure. Wait. Why does he say he's better, huh? Here is it better to have control or finishing, win the Champions League, sell him. Sell him to Al Hilal, rather than have him win the Champions League, right? I mean, win big games where Liverpool shows up. Comparing her here to Vinicius and all that, I mean, are most of the messages more negative than positive? Careful. More negative than positive. I'll say it again. X is what it is. Is it like a bar counter or what? But in a way, social media is a reflection of life, you know? Because, you know, the Bernabeu and all that, and people are hanging around there. Well, it's true that during a game, it gets really, really heated. And when you watch soccer at home, you get really fired up too. And I've seen comments from people on social media or in news stories that get talked about in online outlets, you know, about the purpose of soccer. It's kind of like that too, but from people who go really, really over the top. Why, I've been seeing this kind of over the top drama lately. I said it back then about Vinicius and Xavi's change. The fact that we already have fans of players, not of the team. See what I put? See how I've called out this whole Mbappe thing here? Specifically about it having to do with his games, right? Just so you see that I'm not siding with Benicio or with Mbappe. I mean, I really don't care about this. For me, what matters is Real Madrid. But it really rubbed me the wrong way back then. That or when he goes after Convini or when he goes after Xavi for taking a Vini away from him. Like, why go after Mbappe? Damn it. He's wearing our jersey. He's our player. Damn, we've ripped into him big time here. But that was when he played in Paris. But he's wearing our jersey, and on top of that, he's scoring a lot of goals. He's playing really well. Let's try to improve on what he's messing up, because that's where he's messing up. He messes up, and his coach messes up if he doesn't remind him and make him do it. Let's make sure he doesn't fall into that mistake again. But let's not kill him, damn it. Let's not kill him. I don't know. Anyway, one thing is, well. They say this new base, talking about Mbappe, they put together the edit with him. They say this is going to be the new jersey. Post United says so, and they're a pretty decent outlet. They say this is going to be next year's jersey in Madrid. Check out this jersey. Madrid's for next year. I don't know if this here is in Morocco, Mexico, or Bolivia. I don't know Bolivia's second one. I don't know what this is, but Madrid sure doesn't look like the number. And the little sleeves and what's supposed to be blue and all. Green. This is crazy and pink and the outline pink. So the stripes would be green and pink. I can't. This is just no. You know, most of the time, I don't really care about the jerseys. But this, come on. Yes. Man, you could make it the third kit, but not even that. Please, I hope not, that they don't even think about it, and this is just the last straw. Yesterday, I was telling you about David Bernabeu. If you haven't seen the video, I invite you to check it out. Well, what he was saying about not trading even half a Champions League for your 15, it doesn't pick up on a piece of news that, in turn, was picked up by a site called Solo Fichajes. 1, 2, 3, and one piece of info from ABC that's also badly written, and they say, ABC reports that the Real Madrid conversation about becoming a corporation is actually the conversion, but hey, maybe it's just a typo, right? And David Bernabeu says, well, look at the king of finance and transparency, huh? And he quotes this news from... This ABC article says that turning Real Madrid into a corporation, so it's no longer fully owned by its members and instead benefits private companies, might be due to, could be seen as covering again, poorly written, not. The 1,163 million euros of net debt from the Santiago Bernabeu renovation, which, by the way, a lot of people say no. Check out what they owe in Madrid. You could build a stadium paying for it all up front. Are we crazy? Nobody can do that. So yeah, of course there's going to be some debt from rebuilding a stadium, but of course not. Another thing is what interest rate you got it at. If you can pay it, if you handle the yearly payments well, if you have enough liquidity to be able to do it. In Madrid, they have a record budget, etc. So anyway, but they tell you no. No. Barca has this, but Madrid has that. It's got nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Well, so they're saying the net debt from the Santiago Bernabeu renovation is almost triple what was originally budgeted. It's true that along the way we had to do more things. Did they take out other loans and stuff with worse interest rates than the first one they got? But hey, Madrid can handle it, right? They say this switch to a corporation. Oh, I wonder if it's not exactly for this. Doesn't Florentino Perez tell you? He mortgaged the club's future revenues, becoming the first to sell a lever to Sixth Street and Legends in exchange for 20% of the income from certain new stadium businesses, like hosting concerts or building a parking lot, all of it on hold. Later on in court, the newspaper claims they got $360 million in 2022 from that asset sale, which went straight to the treasury, when it should have been recorded in the budget as debt, because even if it's not a loan with set terms, it's still an advance on future money, which would have caused them trouble with the salary cap for signing and registering their players. This already sounds weird, and they're like, no, that's not how it's going to be. Anyway, let's go to the people who know the most. Hector Mojadano, who's basically just going to tear apart that ABC story. Hector Mojadano says that Real Madrid's deal with Sixth Street should have been counted as debt, just like ABC claims. It's a pretty common mistake we're seeing these days. A debt requires an obligation to pay it back, and that's not the case here. The club didn't borrow any money, but it sold a stake in the Bernabeu's future revenue for 20 years. Who takes on the business risk? Sixth Streets and Legends take on the full risk of the business. If the concerts, hospitality don't bring in what was expected, they don't get their investment back. So the risk was on them. As a result, the accounting treatment used to record the amount as either extraordinary income or a capital contribution in its subsidiary Real Madrid Estadio SL is completely valid. The transaction is essentially the sale of an intangible right comparable to a concession or an operating license. So none of what they said in that article, ABC. It matches reality, but David Bernabeu totally ate it up because he's a journalist, very sharp. Anyway, well, hope everything goes great for you. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel. Please comment and share. Remember about Apollo Tour. If for the 2026 World Cup, you can, if you want to go and you want good prices, get a package at a good price that includes international trip, international flights to get there. The domestic flights and the hotels are the best you can find. They guarantee you the best price. And plus, with the info I'm going to leave for you down here in the description, I'm going to give you a code so you can even get a discount on those great prices. Apollo Tours is a company that does a great job. I know them really well. Reach out to them if you're planning to go to the World Cup. They won't let you down. You've got all the info on how to do it right there in the description. Their website, their Instagram account, and of course, the code when you tell them you're coming from me. See you in the next one. Thanks for being there. It'll be after the game on the live stream on YouTube. Post game after the match against Real. Bye.